Hello everyone and welcome to our last session of this course. During this session, we're gonna be talking about the source of financing. How we're gonna be searching for a way to find investors for our ideas. So at this stage, we have the idea, we know a lot about the problem, the market, what we want to create, about the potential customers, the pricing, the expectations in terms of incomes, etc. So it's the time to learn about how to attract people to invest in you and in your ideas. So first of all, you're gonna talk about the venture capitalist. Then you're gonna talk about the concept of entrepreneurial finance. And last but not least, we're gonna be mentioning the different source of financing. Let's do it. We start with the VCs. The venture capitalist is a very common way to finance your startup, especially if you are working in the high-tech industry. So they search in general to fund actually small businesses, and they don't only invest in terms of money, they also invest in terms of time and energy. So they provide the startup with their knowledge in terms of marketing, in terms of pricing, sometimes in terms of management, organizations, etc. So they provide in we can globe everything by saying they provide a strategic and a professional assistance, market penetration, partnership, talent acquisitions, etc. So everything that the company and the startup might need an advising party to advise concerning the issue, the VC would be capable and will have actually a word to say. So they are not only interested in startup, they also search for big opportunities. So they search for companies that present a high potential growth. And to show this high potential growth, you need to show that you know the market that you are presenting, and that either uh, you have something big to present, or you already proved high sales. If you are not at the startup, you are at an early stage of your life cycle. We're going to talk about that later on. So they are interested in high potential companies, and they focus on industries that work in the high technology. For example, they are interested in software creation, in digital media, in SaaS, in biotechnology, in applications, in mobile and computer devices, etc. What are the criteria that VCs search or research about your company in order to decide either to invest or not? First of all, they are very interested in the industry, as we already said. For the time being, it's about the high technology. Second, they are interested in the stage in which your company is at. So, the life cycle of your company. It's either you are an early stage startup, or if you are at a later stage but showing significant achievements and revenues, because as we already said, they search for big opportunities, big revenues. So if you are at early stage and you showed serious potential through early sales, through customer adoption, prototyping, etc., it's a way to attract VCs. If you are at a later stage, you need to show like very significant achievements in terms of development, in terms of market shares, or in terms of revenues. You need to show that your company did and have significant and important revenues, to show that in the future you can, as a company, achieve good results. Adding to what is previously said, also VCs are interested or might be interested in the geographic area in which you are working. So why? Because the geographical area might show certain potentials as a company, especially when you are a startup. Okay, till now we know what is a VC, what they are interested in. So how, as startups, we can attract VCs? First of all, we need to prepare, actually to find uh, VCs that are similar to us in terms of values and beliefs, because they will be intervening in your decisions. So it's very important to attract the right VC in terms of sharing similar values and beliefs, to be able to make decisions together, to be able to improve the work together, and to be like to have a common understanding of common stuff. Second, it's important to find a key person to introduce you to VC. VCs are in general people with a full schedule. You can't approach them easily, and you can't like simply send an email, because your email might go to the junk to the junk folder, or it might be like one of thousands that they're gonna be receiving. So it's not the best way to attract like your VCs. It's mentioned commonly in the ecosystem that the best way to attract a VC is to be introduced physically to this VC, or even through a phone call, by a well-trusted person, by a common well-trusted person, in order to get this opportunity to pitch your idea in front of them. Third is about to prepare an elevator pitch, and fourth is about to prepare an investor pitch deck. Don't think that you will have like hours to discuss your idea with the VC from the first encounter. No, you will have like couple of minutes in order to present your idea, your potential, in order to convince them to invest in your company, in order to show them potential, in order to make them decide that they want to take part of your success. Potential success, even if it's not like real till now. And also, when we talk about pitching and the techniques that are used in pitching, we say that you don't even have those couple of minutes. You just have some couple of seconds, because the decision of the VC, psychologically speaking, is made from the beginning of the pitch through the first couple of seconds in which you're going to be presenting. So it's very important to make a good impression, to show consistency, to show the reality of your product or service, and to show the potential. Also, when attracting a VC, it's very important to know that you are going into a long-term relation, yes, but you are going into a long process that might take a couple of weeks and sometimes more. So if you are searching for a fast investment, you can't reach a VC, because the process might take some time in order to finalize the venture process. We're gonna talk about the process in the next slide. Why the process takes time? Even if you prepared well and worked hard in order to finalize a venture process, in order to attract the VC, to prepare your material, etc., to have like a consistent idea, you might need time to be able to meet with the decision maker of the VC firm. You might need like a couple of weeks in order to be able to make an appointment and to be introduced to the principal. You might have to make like several follow-ups in order and not only follow-ups, and you need to make like several meetings with the firm before even pitching. You might need to pitch several times. So if you pitch the first time in front of the decision making of the VC firm, you might need to pitch a second time, and even a third time sometimes, in front of partners and other founders that have their word to say. And if everything went as planned, I'm not saying that it won't. There is really a good percentage of chance that you'll be able to attract and to pitch and to make the VC do the investment. Even if everything went as planned, it might also take some time to draft an agreement and finalize the legal documents between your lawyers. So the negotiation between you might take some time. It's not about being afraid of VCs, but it's about to know what it takes as process in terms of efforts and in terms of time and work also. So, what to say later on? And we need to know what we're gonna be like negotiating while talking with a VC. Yes, we're gonna mention, for example, the valuing of the company. You know, when a VC gonna invest, one of the numbers they need is the value of your company. Also, you need to negotiate the amount of investment. You might need X amount, they might be willing to invest Y amount, so you're gonna find a middle point to meet. The form of investment in general is about a convertible preferred stock that are easily possible to liquidate it. So in order to transform it easily into liquidity, so to be able to sell it in return of direct money. The liquidation preferences of equities, the preferences that would be given to the VC. The board of direction and the observation rights that in general the VC firm ask for. So in general they ask to have some rights to observe, to take part, to be represented in the board of direction. The veto rights. VCs might ask for some veto rights over some type of decisions. Also, the information and reports sharing, how many reports they need to have during a year, what type of information they need to have access to. Also, there's many other type of rights. I would like to mention, for example, the anti-dilution. They have the anti-dilution. You can't, as designers or founders, to decide to actually dissolve the company. They have the right to the anti-dilution thing because they invested money. They are part of this process. They put their money in it, the registration rights, etc. So there is a bunch of rights, a bunch of information to carry on, to share, to approve, etc., in order to finalize the partnership. So that's it for the VC. It's very important. Sometimes it's very needed for the company. So for the time being, we know what we are waiting for, what we expect. We know what we're gonna expecting. We covered the VC. Now it's time to talk about the concept of entrepreneurial financing. The entrepreneurship finance is about the value and allocation of resources. And when we say resources, we mention all type of resources. We already covered like all the resources needed for our startup. Now it's time to talk, and we already started talking about the financing, how to attract money into our startup. When we have a good idea, when we have good skills, good team, prototypes, early stage sales, etc., a good business plan developed, it's time to attract financing. It's not something that we start thinking about because we know that there is people willing to invest in you first and second in your idea. So we start by developing actually the idea. So how to attract capitals into your startup, where to find capitals and whom to address, how to decide which type of funds we need. All of that gonna be discussed in the third part of this session. The different sources of financing are the VC that you already discussed, the angel financing, the ground funding, the small business loan, the government grants and loans, the nonprofit and foundations, partner financing, ICO, and the friendly loan. We're gonna take the time to discuss each one alone. The angel investors, all the angel financing. Actually, it's about investors that invest in companies at startup levels in return for some equity ownership. We know some success stories such as Uber, Facebook, WhatsApp that were very successful after the introduction of an angel investor. The margin of investment per company is between 25K and 100K. An angel investor in general search for founders with certain specific qualities. They are interested in companies in which founders are passionate and very committed in their work. They search for integrity. They expect company to address right the market potential and the market opportunity to fill the market gap. They expect a very high performance. They are attracted also to high tech industry. They find the intellectual property very important because it protects the company somehow for a certain number of years. Um, and also, it's important to know that since they are investing in a company at an early stage, they are willing to take like a high risk. In return of this high risk, they expect a valuation of the company lower than its reality in order to protect and to compensate for in order to compensate for the risk they are taking. The ground funding are about raising capital through um, numerous funders. It's done actually in a very simple way. They raise a campaign through which the startup presents what they are doing, presents their idea, their work, they explain the company, etc. And they say also how much they need money in order to do what. And people interested in the business, they will be donating in return of a very simple reward such as the product, service, discount, etc. And even sometimes they search for some form of profit share or equity in the business. The key success behind this sourcing funding is the story. So it's about telling the story behind the product and the service, or and also the identity of the company. So also the reward in question, even if it's simple, it might have a certain influence. It might have a certain influence over the donor contribution in terms of amount and in terms of contributing or not. This kind of fundings can achieve like thousands and million and even millions of dollars. The strategy is not limited to funds. Yes, it's a way to raise funds, but the benefit goes beyond that because it's a way to create a certain community around your company to increase the sense of engagement, etc. You can find in the module, I will not state them, so you will go and find them in the module, like a couple of names of a platform through which we can raise a crowdfunding strategy. The small business loans are those traditional lenders that are willing to lend a company a certain amount in return of some interest. It could be very helpful for some type of activities such as growth, R&D, in order to enter a new market, in order to increase sales, attract talents, etc. We can mention like different kind of such loans, such as the small business line of credit, the financing account receivable, the loans of working capital, small business terms loans, etc. More and more parties are involved in such credits for small business, such as direct online lenders, large commercial banks, like certain local community banks, peer-to-peer lending sites, and bank lenders backed by SPA guarantees. The law covers actually those parties, and they have like specific regulations to follow. It only takes a simple research to find the possibility around your startup. It's true that those type of contracts are not negotiable. It's like a common format that you need only to sign. But we need also not only to sign without reading. You need to read the details and to know about some issues and take into considerations in order to to understand the loan and to understand how we're gonna be refunding it, etc. So we're gonna go over a list of specific issues to see in those type of agreements. First of all, it's about the interest rate. It's important to know if you are signing over a variation of interest rate. We can start with a loan with a certain small I in terms of interest rate, and if you are signing over a certain clause in which we state that the financial institution states that the interest rate can change, so we're gonna be repaying a certain amount in terms of interest. This can increase uh, without us taking that into consideration if we were not aware of reading it in the contract. Also, the payment period. We need to know after how many months we are gonna start to repay the loan. And also we need to know if you are repaying the initial capital divided plus a certain interest, or you are paying the interest and at the end you are repaying the initial capital. So this is very important to know because you're gonna be affected in terms of cash flows. The principal amortization or the due dates. Also the organization fees, how much you're gonna be paying for this, for that, in terms of filing, in terms of account fees, etc. So the conditions of defaults are very important. The securities and collaterals requirements. If there is any type of collaterals and securities required by the financial institutions, and what are the penalties. Is it possible to make any early payment when you are considered as default? Um, what are the type of reports and statements required from the company to the financial institutions? If there is any type of limitations in terms of use of the money, so all of that, and we can find like a lot more of issues to see in those type of contracts, even if many of the times we can't like add it, but we have to consider that in order to choose between the different options we have in terms of loans, and to be able to manage it right and not be negatively surprised later on. The government grants and loans, it depends on the country in which you are operating. Governments many times choose to finance some projects that could be beneficial to the country, that could be supporting as in terms of growth of the country. It could be like a way to support particular industries or businesses in specific areas. So it could be taken in like different forms such as microcredits or grants. It's very important to keep an eye over that to find and to catch the opportunity once it happened. There is well-known non-profit organizations and foundations that support minorities, for example, or any social parties that is considered not taking the same opportunities as it should be, such as women, specific region, or religion, actually, or race in specific countries. So those NGOs present some funds for free for businesses to develop the business and to hire more people. So they give money they give grants, they give money for free for businesses in order to support them and to make them support their organization through hiring, for example. So those funds are very beneficial for the business and the environment in which the business is operating. Um Also, we need to keep an eye over that in order to be able to find about them and to apply. Partner financing. The startup can decide to collaborate with a large existing company in the same industry. The company would bring capitals and participate into the management of the company. In return, the startup would offer the company the distribution rights, the access to product, etc. So it's about selling some shares for another company and not only for individuals. Last but not least, we're gonna be discussing two more financing methods, which are the ICO and the friendly loan. The ICO, it's when we are offering new cryptocurrencies to investors in exchange for more common and more valuable cryptocurrencies. It started to be commonly used since 2013. We know like Ripple and Mastercoin that were actually created behind this funding technique. Last but not least, we mentioned the friendly loan or the friends and family. You know, our first support is our family and friends. So it's a very easy way to ask to be lended some money from our family members and friends. They could be doing it only to support us, or they could be interested actually in our business. It's either about lending us money and expecting to be paid the loan only, or they will agree in investing in it in return of some good return on their investment, the ROI. It's also, as it might sound, the easiest and the least charging way to raise capital. So before, maybe sometimes we need to think like uh, for the easiest and the most convenient one before going for the more difficult one, or sometimes the business, this kind of financing is not appropriate for our business. How to decide? It's about the business itself, it's about your beliefs, your values, what you need, how much you need, and if you agree to give like certain equities for someone, for a different party, if you agree also to give a certain power over the decision making. So all of that need to be taken into consideration while selecting a certain type of financing for your company.